G'day everyone, Shane LeCombre, CEO here at PICAC, and I'm very pleased to be once again recognising RUOKDAY Day. I think it brings a really important focus to something that's overlooked, that's something that can sort of disappear in silence. And I think a day like RUOKDAY Day is fantastic to draw attention to the plight of many of us who deal with mental health or other issues around stress and anxiety. So this throwback, this kind of past sort of thinking that jobs like construction required a certain physical toughness was allowed to permeate into sort of all aspects of people's lives. So you didn't say anything about the things that might have been affecting your mental health. You didn't talk about your emotional state. You didn't talk about anything that really was seen as being your own personal private business. And we know that that's just not a healthy way to operate. We know that trying to deal with, first of all, mental health issues by doing nothing is not a sensible way to deal with that issue. Dealing with it by yourself, predominantly in silence, is not a sensible way to deal with that issue.
I think it's really important to understand that there's been a lot of issues around mental health in the construction industry for a very long time, and we see that in the demographics that we deliver training to in an apprentice level, but we also understand when we look at what's happening in the sector for people that are sort of over the age of 40 as well. It's a really demanding industry. A lot of people work long hours. It's an issue for a lot of people that are in the industry in relation to their mental health and their capability. So I think it's really important for us to be able to, acknowledge RUOKDAY Day and support people in our industry.
We've now learnt that being able to open up and talk about things that might be causing you to have stress or anxiety or mental health is a good thing to do. But there's still a reluctance to do it. There's still that connection with, oh, hang on, I might be thought of as weak by my work colleagues or others around me, or indeed this is a private matter. And all I'd say is that everyone should be available to talk to people that they work with, be on the lookout for signs that might suggest that someone's struggling a bit, and ask them about it. And I think it's the easiest thing to be able to say, hey, is everything okay? What's the situation? And if they do open up and talk, then hopefully we can direct them somewhere where they can get real help that can make a real difference. You don't have to be on your own, and you don't have to be struggling in silence. And it's not a measure of your toughness.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and I work in the plumbing industry as a fire sprinkler fitter. Sprinkler fitting can be a tough job, long hours, physical work, pressure to get the job done. Like many trades, we don't always talk about how we're mentally going. RUOKDAY Day is a reminder that our mental health is just as important as our physical health. We're strong on site when it comes to our safety gear and looking after each other physically, but we also need to look out for each other mentally. It's not a weakness to speak up. It actually takes real strength to say that you're not okay. If you notice a mate who's quieter than usual, seems stressed or just isn't themselves, ask them how they're doing and listen. Sometimes all it takes is a conversation to remind someone that they're not alone. It's not about having all the answers, it's about showing them that you care.
I think RUOKDAY Day should be every day. I think it's really important to check in with, whether it's your family, your friends, at trade school, on the site. It's really important to make sure that, people feel that they can speak to others, and, asking someone how they feel every day isn't a bad way to start a good conversation.
Checking in with each other has to become part of everyday life. In the classroom, on job sites, in offices, and in boardrooms. A simple, genuine, how are you really doing can make someone feel seen, valued, and supported. That's how we break the stigma and continue to change the culture of our trade.
Are You OK Day is important, but mental health isn't just one day of the year. Checking in with your mates, your work crew, and even yourself should be part of everyday life. Let's make speaking openly about mental health just as normal as talking about the weather or the football or your favourite TV show.
Well, at PodTech, I think the first step is being aware. So, as I said, Are You OK Day is not the start and finish. Are You OK Day is a great prompt, great reminder. But I think it's got to be embedded in our culture that we take things like mental well-being, the way we treat each other, the way that everyone's entitled to respect, that we're interested in how people are doing, and if we can help them do better, that we're more than happy to step up and work with each other. Those sorts of things go to making a really good culture, making an environment where people are sort of happy to come to work and potentially can thrive.
Yeah, look, I think it's a really interesting piece in relation to the mental health of the apprentices. You know, again, apprenticeships it can be a difficult thing for a lot of people. What we do is we make sure that we build really strong relationships with the apprentices that come through the RTO. We make sure that there is a strong connection, that the apprentices are sort of open and aware of what we do, and try and deliver training in a really safe space to make sure that there's a great deal of accommodation for everybody in relation to what's happening.
So here's what I want you to remember. In our trade, having each other's backs doesn't stop at the job site. It has to include mental health too. Whether you're an apprentice, a trainer, an admin staff member, or an employer. Every one of us has a role to play in supporting our mates, checking in and making sure no one has to carry their struggles alone.
So today and every day, ask the question, are you okay? And if you're the one struggling, please reach out to a mate, a colleague, or a professional. We've got each other's back in this industry, and that includes mental health.